Bhagavaram Samma Sambuddho Swagato Yena Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipano Yasa Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Dhammayam Bhagavantam Sagaman Sasanam Yataram Arupite Vipuchayama Sadhuno Bhante Bhagava Suchira Pariniputopi Ajima Janata Nugamba Manasa Ime Sadare Dugata Panaka Prabhude Patidanatu Amma Gandhi Daratan Hitaya Sukhaya Aram Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivadi Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami Namayam Buddhasam Bhagavato Papapaganamagarangaro Masi Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa
So, very good, very nice to see you all again. So please now, everyone here, everyone online, compose yourselves, sit up well, nice straight back, body and mind alert. And you close your eyes. And as you do so, you leave behind all that you've been doing and thinking about this day. You put it all down and you leave it. And cameras on, please, so I can keep my beady eye on you. And we'll commence, as usual, by bringing to mind the Buddha, reminding ourselves of our great teacher and inspiration, recollecting his perfect mind, a mind that was quite clear of all forms of corruption and defilement, and indeed far away, far distant from any of that kind of stuff. A mind, too, of infinite compassion. A great and remarkable being, described as perfect in knowledge and conduct. Now, when you think of the Buddha, when you happen to see a Buddha Rupa, be inspired. Be inspired by that incredible example to do something about cleansing your mind too. Do your best to free your mind from all greed, hatred, and delusion. And in doing so, rid yourself of all suffering. And approach this task with a mind of loving kindness for yourself. And don't be reluctant or shy about learning to love yourself. This isn't to be selfish, it's to be kind to yourself and caring of yourself. And yes, do rejoice in your merits. Be pleased with your good qualities and your desire to improve yourself, to be a better person. But also be accepting of yourself. And in the same way, be kind to others and caring of others, and appreciate that they all have their good qualities. Try and see those and emphasize those rather than be critical. And be accepting of them as they are. Don't try to make them how you would have them be. And now take a moment to remind yourselves of your human condition and just what that means. Face up to the reality of aging. Time is passing. There's no stopping it. And life hath but one direction, and time's its only measure. And we're all getting older. And during this lifespan, at practically any minute, something can go wrong somewhere in our body, some part of our body we've probably never heard of. can malfunction, or we catch something, or meet with an accident. It's a precarious existence. And then whatever we do, however much trouble we go to keep ourselves fit and healthy, one day we will die. And so will everyone else. This is not unusual. And all those whom you love, they also will die. Everyone you know. This is the human condition. Aging, sickness, and death. And when we contemplate it, it should wake us up and add some urgency to what we're doing, our need to know, to understand, and to be free of our greed and attachment and our suffering. And that's why we're here now, to do something about that. So sit up and gather and concentrate your mind. Our minds usually are used to going off in whichever direction they fancy. Don't let that happen now. First of all, direct your attention, direct your mind to be aware of your body, your physical presence. Be aware of the solid nature of your body and the space that it occupies. And notice the feeling, the sensation, the movement of your breathing. Just notice that. And attend to just where and how you are aware of the breath. For some of you, it'll be somewhere near the nostrils or the upper lip. But others of you may notice it more clearly somewhere in your trunk, over the heart, or even at the abdomen as it rises and falls in time with your breathing. Whichever it is, wherever it is, anchor your mind there. so that now you will be mindful of each in-breath and each out-breath. Concentrate on just being mindful of your breathing. Remember that if you find your mind wandering, catch yourself dreaming, thinking, or getting upset about some ache or pain or trivial memory, anything at all, you have to deal with it. Deal with it by looking at it. Just looking at it. Just being aware of that thinking or feeling or whatever. And let it go. And find the breath again. And try to keep your attention there, just mindful of each incoming breath, each outgoing breath. Breath after breath after breath. And remember, if there is an interval at the end of one breath before the beginning of the next, just hold your mind there and wait and connect breath after breath after breath. So please remain quite still, just as you have been, and keep your minds concentrated and focused. Only now, for the next few minutes, while I'm talking, make listening your practice. So first of all, I want to mention something which is or has been occupying my mind for the last hour or two, since I heard of someone I know who has been in a very serious accident. Fortunately survived, though the other person did not. And it's not so much the feeling of concern and sympathy for the person I know, but the uncertainty of life that is the reason why I want to mention this just now. Ajahn Chah was fond of saying that we have only two certainties in life. One is that we will die, and the other that everything else is uncertain. This is our existence. And of course, it leads to much pain and suffering from time to time. one of the things we desire so much is stability. And yet our existence is not stable. Everything about it is changing, is constantly on the move, never still for an instant, although sometimes that change is so slow and sustained that it gives the illusion of permanence. And that's what we tend to grasp at, until, of course, we want something else. Then, of course, we welcome a change. But our minds, nevertheless, tend to be focused on stability and having things the way we want them to be. But every so often, there are these shocks, these events, these experiences that wake us up and remind us that life isn't that way at all. It's precarious. And at almost any time, any moment, something can happen to shake us out of our complacency and upset us. So though it's a tragedy, it's also a useful wake-up call. Life is like this. And not accepting this and wanting things to be the way we want them to be, of course, adds to our burden, adds to our trouble. We practice meditation, and mostly when people come to do a practice like this, it's because of a desire for some peace and tranquility and relief from the burdens of everyday existence. And that's understandable, and we accept that. But to be really free of those burdens, we have to actually go a bit further, and that is sometimes uncomfortable. I know that we all would rather be comfortable. But sometimes when we practice, we recognize that it's an uncomfortable existence. We recognize it because we see it. Our practice, our meditation practice, actually shows it up to us. Not just because sitting in this way after a while can be a bit of trouble, but because inevitably we notice the unsatisfactory nature of our existence. Quite intuitively, we notice it. When we practice well, we're laying down some of the barriers that we put up to protect our deluded attitude, our deluded view of things. The experiences you have of what are known as the hindrances are, more often than not, attempts by our minds to prevent us from getting a bit too close to the reality. And so meditation practice is sometimes not as comfortable as you would want it to be, but that is life. And that actually is the beginning of understanding. No one really wants to suffer, and yet suffering can be a source of great wisdom. It is by looking at our suffering, looking at our existence head on, that we grow. And we grow not only in wisdom, but in compassion. And so don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of discomfort. It can be a great advantage, even though at the time it's uncomfortable and troublesome and not how we would want things to be. The Buddha encourages us to make of ourselves an island that no flood can overthrow. And by flood, he meant the passions, the desire for pleasure and comfort, and not just our greed, but our hatred and aversion and dislike as well. In normal life, these kilesa, these defilements, overrun us if we're not careful. We can't help it because our minds are this way. Our minds have been spoilt. They're not clear. They're not clean. And even though we aspire to be good people and we want to be kind to others and we appreciate all these virtues that we've been taught, we all know that our immediate response all too often is irritation or dislike or desire, wanting things to be a bit different, wanting not to do something. It's all there. And none of that is any good to us. But there it is. These kilesa spoil us. And we ought to do our best to try, as the Buddha said, to make ourselves that island by making an effort to develop our minds, to concentrate, to be mindful and aware, to be truly heedful beings. Not just aware of what's going on around us, but of what's going on in us. When we practice meditation like we have this evening, and we take something as simple as the breath, and we try to concentrate on it. And then, of course, our minds wander a bit. But we try to do our best to keep aware of that breathing, that goes on and on without our making any special effort. It's always there. While we're alive, it's always there, breathing in, breathing out. We don't pay much attention to it usually, but there it is. And when we attend to it, and the Buddha pointed this out, not only are we concentrating our mind, but we're beginning to be aware, first of all, of our body. More aware of it in a different way to the one that we usually have. So we're not being troubled about appearance and all that stuff. We're just aware of this body functioning as it does. Breath coming in, breath going out. And then if you concentrate reasonably well, of course you feel good. You even feel, in a sense, quite joyful. And there you are, mindful and aware of feelings. And you notice your mind tranquil, unruffled. And you're aware of your mind. And your breath. It's not still. It's coming and it's going. It's impermanent. It's changing. Watching your breath, so much more is happening to you than often you realize. And when you notice those interruptions, or when you struggle with those hindrances, again, if you make the effort, you're all the time learning. All that you experience, when you bring mindfulness and awareness to it, you turn to your advantage. You learn from. The learning, the understanding is intuitive. It's not something you're going to write a thesis about or even be able to explain. But it's a growth. It's profound development. So do make the effort to develop your mind and change your mind and make unto yourself an island that no flood can overwhelm. And that's enough from me for tonight. And we'll sit for a moment or two longer and just recollect, bring to mind now loving kindness, metta, for yourself and for others. May you and all beings be well and happy. May you and all beings be free from all suffering. May you and all beings realize for yourselves the secure peace of Nibbana. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swagato Bhagavanta Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavanto Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Thank you all very much for coming. Very nice to see you all. I hope you have a good weekend and we'll meet again soon.